Hey there, Sammy here. We got ourselves another semi-casual. So what are we going to be talking about today? We're basically going to be talking about how to stay committed to your VTubing and projects if you have a full-time job. Now, a lot of people do struggle with this because jobs be hard. Jobs be exhausting. They will drain your soul, and I fully get that. But you still want to be a VTuber, you still want to do a personal project, or both, actually. And I understand that. So, and the reason I was asked is because I make it known that I do have a full-time job that is not VTubing. A little bit about myself. I work full-time at a job. I'm not going to say where it is. And on top of that, I also take art commissions, and then on top of that, I am a VTuber, like part-time. Now, I only stream like twice a week. I try 3 times a week, just a little too overwhelming for me. But it's kind of hard to kind of stay dedicated to that depending what your job is. Now, my job is fairly steady. I have very concrete hours outside of forced overtime and working on the weekend. Which, but you can still find time, even if you haven't a regular schedule or whatever. So, number one, finding time. A lot of people, their first excuse is that they don't have enough time to do the thing, And I'm gonna say, you do. If you have enough time to want to do something, you have enough time to do it, And one of the easiest way to find time is to time yourself when you're doing stuff that's kind of useless. Now, I'm not talking about sleeping or something. Sleeping is good for you. I'm talking about like the thing that drains my time more than anything else is literally scrolling around on the socials. Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. All of those actually do sink a lot of time, more time than you think. And a lot of people, and also technically video gaming falls into this, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, no, I don't. Like, no. Like, literally time yourself and you'll be like, 2 hours? What the So that's the first thing you do. And again, you can still do those things. You can still scroll on socials. You can still scroll, you can still play your video games. But just decide what's more important to you. And I say this like every single day. Like, for example, for me, I try to work on my stuff for at least a minimum of an hour, or if I'm too exhausted, sometimes I will basically be like, okay, on this day, and this day, only personal project time. So there will be some days I just do not do commissions because I need to work on my own stuff because I am a 1-person band here, And so that's some things you could do. If you cannot do it every day, at least give yourself some times during the week to work on your projects, and or VTubing. Like for me, I do my streams on Wednesdays and Fridays because those are the days I almost never have anything going on. Sometimes I'll do Saturdays, but that's usually kind of a little out of left field. And when it comes to personal projects, I tend to work on them Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. But I also will, but Tuesdays are my only project day. Tuesdays is literally like, okay, no. Tuesdays and Saturdays roughly are like, no, this is personal project time. This is when I do rigging up my model. This is when I do outfits. This is when I do comic work. This is when I do planning, all that. So also do, either if you do not have designated times per day, do designated days per week. That's the best time to try and work on your personal stuff, whether it be even if it comes to streaming. So if you can only stream once a week, yes, a lot of people are like, you're not going to get caught with the algorithm. Well, no one's going to get caught by the algorithm. Like, a lot of us kind of have to stop pretending we're like the big wigs around here. Do what you can, And I'm not saying have a schedule. I prefer people who have schedules, but I also understand why not everybody can. Just do that. So 2, planning. Now, this is a very key step when it comes to balancing between your full-time job and your personal projects and or VTubing is planning stuff out. So what I tend to do is be like, okay, like, for example, I am working on a comic right now. So I had to plan the story so I can know everything. So it took me a while. It took me like 4 months. But I finally hammered out the story. Then I hammered out everything. So that, and the reason you want to do planning is because it makes it so you'll know what you need to do. Because I'm lucky that I can draw my own art and everything, but you might not be able to do that. You might have to commission people. So this will also help with the commissioning phase, because you'll be like, okay, this is what I want it to look like. So I'm gonna need somebody for voice acting. I'm gonna need someone to draw the scenes. I'm gonna need someone to help me with music. But you don't want to ask for those things if you don't know what you want them for. So, and again, this is all going to be happening during those times that you designate for project time. And again, I recommend at least an hour, whether it be an hour a week or an hour a day. But if that seems too intimidating, I guess 15 minutes. But honestly, an hour doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. You can get a lot done in an hour. And then after that hour, you'll be guilt-free to do whatever the crap you want to do. You can play all the solitaire you want. Let me stop. So yes, plan stuff out. And it doesn't have to be like, intense planning, not taking like 3 years to do something, but just be like, okay, so like, I'm like in mine, for example, I'm like, okay, so I got the story. And then I'm like, oh crap, I need to plan the characters. So I'm like, little notes for the characters. And then I did some notes for the world and the direction of message I want. So that way, while I'm doing everything, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm gonna need. So again, planning's important. Step 3 or tip 3, I don't know. So this one is once you plan things out, keep in mind it will take a while, whether you're working on it yourself or not. So you're gonna work on your project a little bit at a time, because you also don't want to burn yourself out. So like, you're gonna be like, okay, so today I'm gonna work on for me example, I'm taking time out to work on the character designs of my comic characters, because I kind of need to know what they look like when I draw them. So I also don't end up with character drift, because that is character design drift, because that's happened before, where a character just spontaneously decides to look different and I'm like, god damn it. So the little bit at a time is okay. I'm not going to move on to the next stage until I secure who's going to be drawing the characters, or who's going to be mixing the music for me, or who's going to be, I don't know, like who I'm commissioning on VGen, like stuff like that. I'm not going to try, because when people try to do too much at once, it can still lead to a problem, a burnout, and then you're not going to want to do it. Like, you ever have that feeling where I should be working on this thing I love, but I kind of don't want to, and then before you know, you spent like 5 hours staring at YouTube shorts or TikTok or something? That's literally the pre-burnout. That's like the smoke part. So just take a little bit of it at a time and do that. So the person I know that's planning something, this is what he did. He basically was like, okay, I'm looking for someone who I need for this part. Once they get back to me and everything, I'm gonna get someone for this part. I'm gonna get somebody for this part. Doing one part at a time will definitely make sure that your structure of your project and or VTubing stay secure. And this again also refers to okay, I need to find someone, when it comes to planning, I need someone who do I want to do my model? Who do I want to draw it, and who do I want to rig it? Or this is the time I will be doing that myself. How do I do things? This is also like the time you're like, okay, how do I rig a model if I want to do it myself because I cannot afford it? Like, this is the time when you basically work all that out. So once that's set, you basically go on to the next stage. This is also kind of technically interlaced throughout the other stages. So fourth stage, step, I don't know. Make sure everything is organized and easy to find. I myself have all of the stuff pertaining to my specific VTuber in its own folder. So everything to do with my models is in that folder, everything to do with my lore is in that folder, everything to do with my characters is in that folder, art of my characters in that folder, everything is in its own little mini folder. If you do not know how to structure folders, please learn. Like, please. I know apparently younger people don't know how to use computers, and that's kind of weird to me, but whatever. So keep everything organized and easy to find. So I have like and also back up everything you're working on, because there's nothing more disheartening than working on a project for 2 years and then it all goes poof because, I don't know, your power went out or something. I'm not speaking from experience, shut up. So but make sure to back up everything while you're organizing. So periodically, I recommend on a weekly basis or monthly basis, back up all your files that you end up getting. Backups, like any emails that you get sent for commissions, save those emails. Please do not delete your emails when they are things that are sent to you. Next, step 5, ask for help. Basically, a lot of times it can be overwhelming, especially if there's a passion project that you're doing on your own. Sometimes you will need help with it. And what I mean by help is not necessarily people doing work for you, but people, like, for example, if you're like, okay, yeah, I don't know who to ask for music. I don't know how to do that. Ask someone who does, you know? And I'm not saying ask Twitter. Do not ask Twitter shit. But if you're like, especially if you're a VTuber, like almost always there is a group you can talk to, you know? I know making friends with VTubers is hard, but like, you know, but in general, or ask like people you know IRL. But ask for help. Ask like, okay, like for example, people do ask me for assistance all the time. Like they're like, Semi, how does this look? Does this look okay? And I'm like, yeah, it looks good. You know, sometimes you need a fresh set of eyes on things, you know? And also if you just want someone to help keep you on track, because another thing about personal projects is sometimes it's easy to lose motivation when it feels like you're just in a room by yourself playing with your Legos. So sometimes you could just ask a friend, being like, hey, can you like just every once in a while ask me how my project's doing, just so I don't forget about it? You know, asking for help is important. And again, sometimes you are gonna have to ask other people for help to even get your project done, whether that be commissioning people on VGen or Fiverr or Scab, I don't know. But yeah, ask people. And also anytime you see like a big VTuber basically putting out information on how to do stuff, save it. There's so many VTubers that just put up a random thing that's really helpful, and I will save that shit. Like, I have half my bookmarks are just VTubers giving useful information. Like, you have no idea how big my database of how to do shit is. Like, mine is actually really huge. Like, there was like a little trend a little while ago where they're like, this person's making you pay money for VTuber advice? Fuck that shit, I'll make it myself for free. I have all of them. I think I might just make a database of useful stuff I found while VTubing. Same thing with like artist stuff, program stuff, you know, animation stuff. There's a lot of things that I do not know how to do, and I found out solely by doing research. Oh, and again, if you do not know a friend or you do not know how to research yourself, ask a friend who likes to research. And if you do not know someone who likes to research, I guess I'll do it. Like, I love sharing information, like I do. If like some people have asked me like, hey, do you know where you put that one file that tells you how to rig a live 2D model from scratch? I'm like, do I? And I do. Like, I learned how to rig by myself using just YouTube videos. So yeah, just this is me figuring stuff out on my own, and I don't even rig that good. So, but yeah, asking for help is a good idea. Next, and I think this is like the final point, be patient with yourself. Projects take a while, and if you have a full-time job, it takes even longer. You're not someone who has the resources of a company. A lot of people will look at the big indies or the big company VTubers or artists and be like, man, they get stuff done in a couple of months and it's taken me like 2 years. And I'm like, it's because you're by yourself. You do not have the money or the resources to get stuff done quickly. Like, and it's okay to be patient, but it's also okay if you feel frustrated sometimes. Being frustrated is a natural response to when things don't go your way. But once that's over, you need to get back to work, you know, and also make sure you rest properly. If you had a long day at work and what happens to me sometimes, an emotionally devastating day, and that stuff literally knocks me out. And you end up just falling unconscious for a couple of hours. Don't get mad at yourself when that happens. Don't be like, oh man, I should have spent my time working on my project instead of being emotionally exhausted and passing out on that dark. Some things can't be helped, you know? Some things can't be helped. Give yourself some patience and some grace, okay? You're doing your best, and that's all right. You're doing the best you can do. And sometimes the best you can do is the best you can do, you know? Just keep going, you know? And once you're done, be proud of that, you know? Secret 7th tip, make sure it's something you actually want to do. Like, a lot of people don't think about this, but you would be surprised how much people do things that they don't want to do. Some people will spend hours, effort, years doing shit they don't even want to do. Like, for example, I tangentially like singing, but I am not going to try and make a goddamn cover. That sounds stressful as ass. Just because I can sing a little bit doesn't mean that's something I actually want to do. Yes, a lot of VTubers make anime song covers, or just song covers in general. They're known for that. And I could, but I don't want to. Like, that's a lot. Like, I know someone. Her voice is beautiful. She makes covers all the time. She's great. I'll probably link her in the because her name is Rena. She's great. We have a very similar color scheme, actually. But like, you know, I don't want to spend my time trying to make a song cover when I don't even like singing that much. Nowhere near as much as I love drawing, you know? So make sure whatever you plan to do is something that's important to you. Because 9 times out of 10, you're gonna make that shit and no one's gonna care. Like, the thing about creative projects is they're more for you than they are for other people. Not everyone's even gonna like it, you know? Not everybody's even gonna like it. And it's kind of difficult to wrestle with that, being like, I put in all this effort and no one even looked at it. Sometimes it be like that, yo. So just kind of keep in mind that you are doing this for you and nobody else. You know, this is your passion project. Give it the attention that it deserves, because at the end of the day, you might be the only one who likes it, but be proud that you finished. Be proud that you've done it, because most people who set out to do something creative never finish. Hell, some people never start. Like my comic, Under New Management, that thing is kind of ass. But it's actually the very first story I finished. It's short, yeah, but I'm proud of it, because some people literally get 2 pages into the comic and stop, you know? Like, every time I think I'm not going to be able to finish my current comic, I'm like, I did finish Under New Management. And I'm proud of that. So, you know, be patient with yourself, keep going. And sometimes it might look a little jank, but you know what? Just keep going. Nothing you make will ever be perfect, and that's okay, you know? So I have given you some useful tips and tricks or steps, I don't know. So again, be patient with yourself. Give yourself at least an hour or so to work on your personal projects outside of your job. And then you can spend the rest of the time just dorking around or whatever, you know? Decide how important your project is to you. If it's not that important or you don't really care, then don't worry about it. But if it's like, I want this to be out there, I want to make this and put it out there, then do it. You can do it. And I would honestly love to see what you make. if you are currently working on a project, tell me about it, you know, in the comments below. Tell me what kind of project you want to work on. Even if you haven't done anything yet, tell me your dreams. I do actually love hearing about people's lore. I do. You know, I love hearing about lore. I like hearing about stories. I like hearing about projects, just being like, you know, regardless of what it is, even if it's something I don't actually understand what it is, I still want to hear about it. I love hearing about people's passions. You know, as much as I hate people talking to me about the goddamn Warhammer bullshit, I do admire people's passion with it. Please do not use this as an excuse to talk about goddamn Warhammer. But I love when people talk about, like, you know, painting figures, the type of paints they got to use, the techniques they have to have, the funny quirks that their project has, which is like, I have to make this, like, this mini, but good God, the paint I want is like out of stock or some shit. Like, you know, I like actually hearing about that. I like hearing about people's passions. So if you want to tell me what you're working on, what you want to work on, what you wish to make one day, let me know in the comments. Yeah, like, subscribe, all that stuff. What do you want me to talk about next? Because if you leave it up to me, it's probably going to be something stupid. But yeah, let me know what you are curious about next. I am an old woman, so I do have a lot of experience, and I will try my best to just yap about whatever you need. All right? But I hope you have a good day. Be good, behave, and don't be a menace. And if you feel like nobody cares about you, you know what? I do. Have a good day. Love you.